Hello everyone. I'm the instructor here at ABQ Online Seminars. Chapter 2. Definitions. ABS, acrylonitrile-butadiene-styrene. Accessible, when applied to a fixture, connection, appliance, or equipment. Accessible means having access thereto, but which first may require the removal of an access panel, door, or similar obstruction. And readily accessible means direct access without the necessity of removing any panel, door, or similar obstruction. Air gap, drainage. The unobstructed vertical distance through the free atmosphere between the lowest opening from any pipe, plumbing fixture, appliance, or appurtenance conveying waste to the flood level rim of the receptor. Approved. Acceptable to the authority having jurisdiction. Branch vent. A vent connecting one or more individual vents with a vent stack or stack vent. Building drain. That part of the lowest piping of a drainage system that receives the discharge from soil waste and other drainage pipes inside the walls of the building and conveys it to the building sewer beginning 2 feet outside the building wall. Building sewer. That part of the horizontal piping of a drainage system that extends from the end of the building drain and that receives the discharge of the building drain and conveys it to a public sewer, private sewage disposal system, or other point of disposal. Combination waste and vent system. A specially designed system of waste piping embodying the horizontal wet venting of one or more sinks or floor drains by means of a common waste and vent pipe, adequately sized to provide free movement of air above the flow line of the drain. Confined space. A room or space having a volume less than 50 cubic feet per 1,000 BTUs per hour of the aggregate input rating of all fuel-burning appliances installed in that space. Let me explain to you all about confined space and how to calculate with an example. The definition reads, a confined space is defined as a room that contains one or more combustion appliances that has less than 50 cubic feet of volume for every 1,000 BTU per hour of appliance input. Applies to solid fuel burning appliances, which is saying it applies to any gas and propane appliances. If the space does not meet the 50 per 1,000 criteria, building inspectors in the affected municipalities are enforcing what is known as a standard method. 2 permanent openings totaling 1 square inch of free vent area per 1,000 BTU of appliance input shall be provided between the confined space to the outside or to adjacent spaces within the dwelling. A common example would be vents installed in a basement door that separates the combustion appliance zone from the upstairs. The rule does not apply to two-pipe systems common to high-efficiency direct vent systems that also have dedicated combustion air, PVC or stainless steel venting. These are Category 4 type appliances. If a chimney that serves a gas-fueled furnace and hot water tank has adequate draft, then it stands to reason that there must also be sufficient combustion air regardless of the volume. Remember, 1 CFM of air out equals 1 CFM of air in. If draft is weak or spillage of combustion byproducts is occurring, then the problem may likely be associated with the venting system and not due to a lack of combustion air. That is, unless the appliance is located in a tight closet. Typically, basements don't fit into that category because in most cases they are fairly leaky. Combustion air problems have much more to do with the appliance itself rather than available air around it. All of these important variables aside, several weatherization agencies and state field representatives report that certain municipalities have offered only strict interpretations of the code. The calculation below is an example that uses the standard method for determining whether or not a furnace is located in a confined space. A furnace and hot water heater totaling 120,000 BTU input occupies a 30 feet wide times 25 feet in length times 7 foot height ceiling room, which equals 5,250 square feet. Divide the total BTUs per hour input 120,000 by 1,000 and that equals 120. 5,250 square feet divided by 120 equals 43.75 total square or cubic feet. So we know that the room is undersized and needs more combustion air. In this case, the appliances are considered to reside in a confined space because that space does not have 50 cubic feet of volume per 1000 BTU input. The code's official name now requires cutting louvered vents into the door that connects the basement to the upstairs as required by the code. This measure, of course, flies in the face of standard air sealing protocols. Many would argue that it is an added and unnecessary expense, but agencies maintain there is no way around it in some of their jurisdictions. Or is there? We found building codes officials may not be aware of approved alternate methods to the standard method, which has been around for over half a century. Learn more on this subject with lessons by ABQ Seminars, bringing you better solutions with today's methods and will be tomorrow's standards. So let's pause for a second. I want you all to take a break and watch this video about confined space, how important it is, and how it is sometimes overlooked. Please note, when dividing fractions, remember, top in and bottom out, and a cubic foot is the same as a square foot.
Arizona, April 14th. An apprentice accidentally dropped a securing nut into an empty argon tanker and entered the tank to recover it. He took 2 breaths and collapsed. He died. Oklahoma, March 14th. A new pipeline in a trench was being proof tested with nitrogen. A charge hand entered the trench to investigate an audible leak. He took 2 breaths and collapsed. He died. September 26th, Michigan. After a fire in a pump room was extinguished with CO2, a fireman went down to investigate. He wore an oxygen supply, but as soon as he found the fire was out, he removed his mask. He took 2 breaths and collapsed. The fireman died. All these men really died, and from a very deadly killer. A killer they did not smell, did not see. There was no warning. They took 2 breaths, and minutes later they were dead. Not so much from something that was there, but from something that wasn't. Oxygen.
Hey, what's this big deal about oxygen? It's all around me. What do you think I'm breathing right now, huh?
That's true most of the time, but there are some places.
Okay, I can't breathe underwater.
And there isn't much oxygen at high altitudes either.
All right, I get the picture. But I don't work underwater, and I don't work up there either.
Maybe you don't, George, but even in your normal environment, there's only about 21% oxygen in the air you breathe. The rest is mostly nitrogen. And someday, someplace, probably where you work every day, and it could be a pipe casing, a ship's hold, a mine shaft, a tank or a pit, usually a confined space of some sort, there's going to be less than 21% oxygen.
You mean in there? Well, but that looks just like the places I work in or around all the time.
Sure it does. That's why it could be dangerous.
But I don't smell anything. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything either.
You won't.
Well, so how do I know if there's oxygen in there?
You don't. That's the whole point. If you walk into an oxygen-deficient atmosphere, you won't have a single warning, and it's too late to hold your breath. You'll take 2 breaths and you'll
collapse. No warning or nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, but you mean a few percent less oxygen can actually make a difference?
Usually it doesn't happen gradually. But if we lower the oxygen to only 19.5%, just that much less is the minimum required by law to sustain normal life. And as the percent of oxygen decreases, it rapidly gets dangerous. Dizziness, a more rapid heartbeat, a buzzing in your ears, maybe a headache. Muscular control becomes difficult. Permanent brain damage can occur. Then paralysis, unconsciousness, death in 5 to 8 minutes.
Well, how come there wouldn't be any oxygen in there?
Could be a lot of reasons, George, but mostly because industry today uses many types of gases. Some of them precisely for the reason that they completely replace oxygen in a specific area. Some of these gases are poisonous, some highly flammable, but many of them you won't see, taste, or smell. or a lack of oxygen could be caused by flame, fire, rust, or by the decay or fermentation of organic matter.
So, I really don't know what's in there, do I? Oh, hi, Harry.
Hello, George.
Hey, that's Harry in there. He's down. I gotta go get him.
Stop. Think. Don't panic.
Yeah, but there's no oxygen in there.
Time is critical, but if you walk in there without oxygen, there'll be 2 men down. So scream for help.
Help! Help! Harry's down in there. I need an oxygen mask and a safety line, fast.
Now you're thinking. You must have an oxygen source and a lifeline. You can't hold your breath long enough to rescue someone.
Get medical help here fast and then notify the boss. Hey, what happened? I don't remember a thing.
No, you wouldn't, Harry. No oxygen in there. You know, we ought to have a program of some sort around here to prevent this kind of thing.
Right. Prevention is the only cure. Be aware of the potentially dangerous oxygen-deficient areas on your job and plan ahead. Know what you're going to do and check each procedure carefully. Monitor and test the atmosphere of all areas before you enter. Use a self-contained breathing mask when working in dangerous areas and always have them available for an emergency. Use lifelines and harnesses, and use the buddy system so someone is there to help you if you do get into trouble. When an accident occurs, think. Don't panic. Call for help. You need 2 or more people to help with the rescue. And you must have an oxygen supply and a lifeline with someone on the other end. Don't become the 2nd or 3rd victim. But most of all, prevent accidents. Don't enter an area of any kind without knowing what's inside, because oxygen deficiency is waiting for you, and there won't be any warning at all. All you'll have to do is take 2 breaths to